Ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy Rufus. We have a very special guest today in Cam Rodgers from the UMass Dartmouth track and field team, fresh off of, a New England appearance on his way to nationals. This is your field athlete of the year. This is a rookie of the year. This is a seven school record holder at Durfee. He gave me the full rundown of his accolades, but we'd be here for quite a while in the intro if I had to run through the entire list. So I figure, a couple school records, the rookie of the year, field athlete of the year, nationally ranked, nationally placed multiple times now. So Cam, how are we doing today?
Doing great. Doing great. Can't complain.
So obviously you guys you guys won the LECs, which was huge for you. You got your accolade for field athlete of the year. Where does the team stand right now? Because obviously the team's been having some success as well as you. Where do you stand? Where are you going in terms of placements at the New Englands and then going into nationals, as well as some of your teammates? Where are they heading to nationals with you, or just the success they had this season as well with you?
All right, so I'll start off with the team. So returning champions, my freshman year, 2019, it was. We went out conference and we had All-American George Papulis. We had honestly a good amount of talent that could be spread around to a bunch of events. It doesn't we didn't pull up to the meet stacked at all, but we had a lot of guys to just go and have a day. So we're kind of hoping we can replicate the same thing with this conference meet this year. And honestly, I already knew I had a workload ahead of me. My freshman year, I did 5 events at that meet. This year, another 5 events again. So it was just a loaded day. A lot of people execute and did better than what they expected. We weren't even expected to win that meet. Just the same thing it was my freshman year. So we just came out and we did our thing, honestly. I'm really proud of all my teammates.
It's impressive that like you're able to win multiple events. Like I can't even fathom the amount of energy it'll take into one sprint or one high jump or anything to or relays or throwing, like to be able to compete in multiple events, because there's a lot of people that are able to specialize, like obviously throwing and stuff like that is going to be a little different from people who can compete in running and racing. There's different builds involved, like javelin, stuff like that. Those are just different. Obviously you can build into different body types and specialize, but to be able to compete in multiple events is pretty impressive. And the shout out there to George too. George, he got robbed of the Nationals his final year, but still, you two the fastest dudes that I've ever seen, at least in person.
Yeah, that just come down to a lot of training. I owe a lot of credit for what I am today. I always say it to my high school coaches, helping me get to where I am today, seeing a lot of potential in me. Because before I came here, originally I'm from Virginia, Newport News, Virginia. Then I moved up to over to North Carolina, and when I was there, I uh, I was I was an 800 runner in middle school, skinny kid, kind of nerdy, skinny, whatever. And then I came up here walking in Durfee in the hallway, like literally my first day at Durfee. And Coach Sleep sees me in the hallway. He has a little raspy voice. He's like, "Hey kid, you wanna run track?" I'm like, "Yeah, I wanna run track." So obviously I come out and then offer it. They make me a hurdler. So that kind of kicked off my journey. Like I'm gonna hurdle. So yeah, the training was intense, especially with Coach Joe Lamar, Paralympian medalist, very knowledgeable guy. He'll push you to do great things as long as you buy in is the main thing.
Yeah, I think
So
that's where a lot of success, I think, between the high school and college level is, especially at the Division 3 level, is the dedication, because everybody's paying to go to school at that point. Regular students, you're paying the same as a regular student, and you're gonna have to do all the same workload. It's a matter of your commitment to the process. So, yeah, let's delve into a little bit of the time at Durfee. Like you said, the growth and the grind came a lot through training, a lot of help through your strength and conditioning program there. Um, Kind of run me through like freshman to senior year, like the growth and kind of finding your way into, like, obviously you said like you ended up running the 400 hurdles. The growth through events that you had, and obviously from freshman to senior year, then making your decision into college. Kind of run me through what it was like going through high school at Durfee, and building into what platform you have today.
Oh, okay. So yeah, my freshman year, I moved up. I moved up actually towards the end of my freshman year, and I actually started track at Durfee my sophomore year. So I didn't even compete, do any track field, any sports at all my freshman year at Durfee. It was actually my sophomore year. So I came out for winter track there at Durfee, decided I wanted to try sprinting out because it was literally like this. There's Coach Lamar, who's a distance coach, and you got Coach Sleep, the sprint coach. Then they're like, all right, sprinters with Sleep, distance with Lamar. I was like, I don't want to do distance anymore. I want to sprint. So I stayed over with Sleep, and then I get over there. He gets me trained on some hurdles, and I'm not gonna lie. At the start, I didn't realize until now that I'm older the potential they saw in me, and I thought they were kind of like picking on me or stuff like that, but they were trying to push me because they knew I could be something good. And then eventually, I kept training. I'm like, wow, I'm running faster times and doing better. I wasn't any good at the start doing high jump. I wasn't any good with hurdles. Couldn't three step or anything, but I uh I bought in. I won my first 400 outdoor race. I think it was my first win in general. Uh, Notre Dame Academy it was. Freshman sophomore meet it was. I won that. I got me a little trophy that I still have to this day. It's in my room in Far River, probably collecting dust. But I won, and it was the best feeling. Like I was like, wow, I'm actually good at something. And after that, I was like, I'm gonna try to be the best I can. So sophomore year, I compete. I made D1 states, and I eventually because we were the Big Three conference in fiber. It was Durfee,
Dartmouth,
Brockton.
right? Dartmouth.
No, it
Dartmouth
was
wasn't
Big
it then?
Three. No,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
now it's SEC. Yeah, now it's SEC. Whereas Dartmouth, Bridgewater, Raynham's in there, and Dartmouth too. But it was Big Three with Durfee, New Bedford, and Brockton. So we get to that meet, and that's when I got introduced to my high school nemesis, Jordan Williams. Shout out Jordan Williams from Brockton. My man, he also is a big reason that I'm where I'm at today because he was one of my main focus of training. Like, I want to beat this kid. I and I'm not gonna lie, that was the only time I beat him in that 400 hurdles in my high school career. My sophomore year, D1 states, I finished. I don't even remember what I placed in that race. I wasn't even looking to win or go to all states. I was just happy I was there. And me and him were in the same race. And my coach, I didn't know where he was. He described me, if it was the 401-meter hurdles, I would have lost to him. That's how close it was. I beat him that once and never beat him in 400 hurdles again.
Hold that one over his head whenever you see him. Just have that.
I know. I'm like,
Have
yeah,
that
I
one
got the
time.
card. Yeah, the one time. But then afterwards, move up, go over to my junior year. I don't know if I started my intense training. I did a good amount of training my sophomore year summer. I would run about 3.8. I have a route in Farver. It's about 3.85 miles. I would run that. I know for sure my junior year in the after my junior year in the summer, I ran that route every single day religiously. And in the summer, like every single day, I would wake up. Sometimes I wouldn't even brush my teeth. I would wake up and I would just headphones on, running shoes, go run the route, come back, brush my teeth, whatever, eat, and I feel amazing. I wouldn't even eat sometimes. I would just go run.
Yeah, morning runs, especially in the summer around here, when you can beat that humidity. I do like a 3 mile ish one, or at least when I did. It's around a pond, so it was just you got to get out early. You got to beat it before the sun and the humidity hit. And
Oh yeah.
anytime you work out early in the morning, a lot of my bench PRs and stuff when I was benching real heavy and doing a lot of the bodybuilding stuff before decided to play football again in college. Again, we're early mornings, 5, 6 in the morning. It sets your day off so well. If you get to bed early and you put the time in, and just it's easier. You just feel more complete with how your day is going to go. You know, your confidence is higher. I think you have the right endorphins going. I totally agree with that in terms of the feel of the early morning grind and how that feels. Going throughout your day, and it's a good discipline thing too to be able to wake up and just go.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then that that definitely helped me a lot. When I got back to school, my conditioning was all the way high. And I played football too at Durfee when I was there. I was three-sport athlete, football, indoor track, outdoor track. And I get to track season junior year. Got to made it to states for indoor and outdoor. I'll do high jump, hurdles, and I think I placed 13th in the All State meet that year. I think I didn't run a good race at all in the divisional meet. I barely made it into All States. I finished like 10th or something. So it's top two finishers from each division, and then the next six fastest times go to All States or something. I'm pretty sure that's how it is. And I just made it in. I didn't have a good race at all. And then I made it to the All State meet in Fitchburg, and I finished 13th in the state my junior year. So I'm like, wow, I'm getting closer and closer. Like I'm getting closer. I'm one of the top guys in the state, top 20 now. Train harder. I'm off season. I finished. I got back. Oh, funny story about that too. I had to fill out a paper to ride with my coaches in the car. And all states, it's hot. It's hotter around that time of year. So I walk. I didn't have a car. My mom would give me rides and stuff. So I would walk to Durfee from my house to go to like Saturday practice, anything like that. It's hot. I get there and I realize I forget to slip. And my coaches being like the hard, tough coaches they were, or at least Lamar, he's like, we can't take you. Run back to your house and go get it. It's probably like 85, 90 degrees outside. I literally run all the way home, grab the slip. I get about halfway back and they come pick me up. He's like, all right, now good. When we get there, you're gonna be warmed up. And I'm just like, bro, what? So I was already had a bit of like, I say a 2 mile warm up before I even got to Fitchburg to run my race.
I could already feel the hamstring cramp coming on from running in 90-degree weather, at least
It
for me
it
personally.
was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. I will never forget that. We got there, ran the race. I still have the video of the race now. It was still pretty good, you know. And fast forward senior year, everything just took off. Everything started to land in place.
all
Now,
that all that time that you put together, all the commitment, like you said, just the time and energy finally flew into a big senior year.
oh yeah. Even still the junior year, I was still doing other events too. I would do long jump, um, 110 hurdles, triple jump, relays, all that stuff like that. But Jordan Williams still, I was still competing with him throughout the whole year. He would always beat me. I'm just like, man, I want to beat this guy so bad. Then we get to, and he was Division 1 too. It was not, so it's not like I can go win my division, then see him at all states, and then try to beat him there. I got to face him in D1, then all states for not only the 400 hurdles, but pentathlon, because I did pentathlon in high school too. So me and him broke the state record in pentathlon. He beat me. I was like, all right. So that was set up. We compete D1's Thursday, then D1 for hurdles on. I had hurdles and high jump actually on Saturday. So I had like a day break to recover from that pentathlon, just 5 events. So I was doing like 7 events.
I can't even fat like the shape, obviously like the physical condition you have to be in to be able to do that, and not only do it, like it'd be one thing to just complete them, to compete at the highest level, can't say enough good things. Can't commend you enough.
I don't know. I was a lot younger, so I don't know. I just he would tell me to go do something, I would be able to do it. Like my training for the pentathlon for the distance, I think it was the 1,000 or the 1,500. I think it was 2 days or a day before. Coach Amara is like, all right, for that training, we're just gonna have you run 10 400s. And I was running them at least 85% pace. 10 400s is a tough flag. You hear 10-4, even 3 400s, like 4 400s. You just like 10 400s. Did it? Got to the thing. Went off. We did good. And then the very next week was the All State. So then I did the same thing again. I did pentathlon against Jordan again, and on Thursday, what was it? Yeah, Thursday. And then I had hurdles and high jump on Saturday. So yeah, I finished second in the state there, and I didn't compete at New England's because I had made New Balance nationals, and I just need a break, try to get fresh for that. I was excited for that. That was an awesome experience for me.
So where did the New Balance Nationals this take place? Where was that event held?
At NCA&T in North Carolina, which is very close to where I was living. I'm very familiar with that track, and that was the same place that this past spring nationals last season was. So that was. I think that's there. It's going to be there every time for the New Balance guys. I think that's their outdoor track to run the nationals meets at.
So yeah, did that finish out your senior year going to there and just taking that little breather going to New Balance?
Yeah. So yeah, that was my last high school career like competition. Um, I was that was the jersey I competed in. You're not allowed to compete in the your school's uniform there. So technically, I was running under Hilltopper Track and Field Club, not Durfee High School. So I qualified. I qualified for that at D1s my senior, and then I PR'd again at All States the next week to better my thing. But I got there. I qualified in high jump too, also for emerging elite. There's championship emerging elite. I made championship 400 hurdles and emerging elite high jump. And hurdles didn't go too well. Probably my worst race. I was upset. It was hot out there too. So apparently there's a rule that I wasn't aware of because it was my first time there. And any event 400 meters and under has to use blocks. And I never used blocks for the 400 hurdles. I use it for like anything underneath. But in high school, I would never use blocks. And when I got there, it was like, all right, you have to put your foot in the pedals. Like the officials are going to check people, and blocks will change your steps to the hurdle. So I got to the hurdle immediately, first hurdle. I usually lead with my right, left, kind of leaped over it, and it was just sloppy from there. And I finished that race. I was sweating. I just sat down. I wanted to cry, honestly. I really wanted to cry. But it made it better that I had a high jump emergingly. I think was it the next day or I can't remember if I did it before or after. For emerging elite, I got fourth there and I jumped my PR there. So I got a medal. Medal's mad cool. I got it in my house. So I left with something good, but hurdles didn't go too high.
Yeah, I kind of joke with you all the time when I'm shouting you out in the Instagram stories, like, damn, man's gonna need a bigger trophy room. But then, like, in reality, we've already mentioned a couple of your favorite, your medals and your awards. So I can only imagine what it looks like. I got my litter of stuff from Little League and whatnot, but that's stuff that I could very easily say, move on with it. But when you have all these stuff through high school and New Balance and nationals and states, it's like that's way more glamorous. That's way more of a flash out there for you.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to stay humble with it. So I stay humble with it. I do got a couple of the pieces with me though. We had our medal. We had our presentation at halftime for
I
for
saw
winning
that.
the
It was on the stream for the game.
So we wore some of our medals. Well, we wore the medals that I wore the medals that I got from the conference there. A bunch of my teammates did. But Swallow, the thrower, he's gonna be going to nationals with me next week. He was like, dude, we should wear all the conference medals we got. So I had went home and grabbed them. I didn't wear all them. So I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to make all this noise or all these medals. But got a couple here. Uh,
Just a couple.
a few medals here. These ones were the old. These little LEC ones were the old model. And these are the ones, a lot flashier.
Oh, I got way more of a
A lot of
flash
flash
going
to
on there.
it.
Yeah, those. See, you got like one looks kind of like just like we're happy to have you here. The other one says like you won something. You definitely got
Exactly.
more.
This doesn't even look too gold. It looks
That looks
pretty
like a
bronze.
participation. Like here, thanks for racing. Good
Exactly.
season. The other ones,
LAC for stepping their game up.
yeah. So you close out your high school career. Kind of talk to me through like the process of finding your way over to UMass Dartmouth. What it was like, pursuing your goals and your dreams at at the next level in terms of racing, in terms of running, and just track in general. I guess you run so many events. I get you get kind of lost.
Well, it was honestly the college process was very tough for me. I moved up here and I had no clue about any schools in the area. No like knowledge of this school is D1 and right here. This school is excuse me. This school is a great sprinting program. I had no idea about any of that stuff. And I have a good guidance counselor, but it's so many kids at Durfee where it's hard to really help out everybody and show everybody the same kind of TLC that they need in terms of picking the right college for them. And like I said, I finished 13th in the state my junior year, which is like where you need to start applying and looking. And honestly, after I wasn't even really doing any looking around. I did one tour, which was a UMass Amherst, and I still wasn't even familiar with the schools that much. But um, yeah, I my coach Corey Sleep, he was just saying I went to UMass Dartmouth. I ran track there. Uh, Coach Gardner, Coach Stephen Gardner, currently my high jump coach, is a legend. He was like, he's a great coach. I think you should go there, have a good program. And honestly, it was getting close to the deadline. I was like, screw it. I'm gonna go there. They're cheap, they're not too far. I'm gonna go there. I'm still gonna train. This track, very kind of individual. I'm gonna do my best, and I don't know. I'm trying to be the best I can there. Try to get to the headlines as best as I can.
Which obviously you ended up doing, like you said, field athlete of the year this year. So, um, obviously at UMD now, what was like the biggest adjustment? Do you think? What were did you change your training focuses? How did everything kind of fall in place differently at UMD as opposed to high school, or was it all remote, like relatively the same, or were there some big adjustments or some even little adjustments to make?
Um, at Durfee, it was a lot different for me in terms of especially training wise. Um, I realized that when I was training, a lot of the time I was doing training on my own at Durfee, whereas somebody like my friend, he's my nemesis, but he is my good friend, Jordan Williams. You have plenty of talent there where you can have a good training partner, somebody to push you at practice every day to run fast. Whereas to me at Durfee, I was kind of running against myself, or like it was more of a mental battle. Like they had me go do my own reps or something over here, and it was kind of just like I was kind of like winging it in terms of pushing to get to the next, like to better myself. It wasn't really I'm racing my friend at practice so we both can get better. It was like, no, like you need to execute on your own. But I got here and you got somebody who's already the face of the program, like George Poulis. I'm a new guy, like it's cool. I did all this cool stuff in high school, but it's a totally different feel. Like I'm not the face anymore. Like back before, it would be George for every UMass Dartmouth post, and I was like, man, I want that to be me. Like I want it to be me. So we'll train. A couple workouts I did with George. Dude's a beast. He can run crazy. He's insane. He's still into this fitness stuff till today, up to today. He was actually thinking about coming back and running another season. Um, but really the just the biggest difference I know is just like it's a lot more structured. You know, coaching is a lot more catering to different things. It's like expected for you to know the basics though, compared to high school. Like you should know certain things.
Yeah, there's a different. Obviously, they set um, a different baseline once you get to that level. As a
Mm.
George is one of the best, like I said, best athletes I've seen uh, come through UMass. Just the same as you. Both you guys got a lot of the headlines like that. It's funny you mentioned that about the headlines from George because you fall right in line with it. You're going right after what you wanted to do. Were there any in terms of like obviously there was like a general training focus. It was at Durfee it was a little bit harder to push yourself to a certain progression because you had to do it individually. There wasn't really anybody that you were surrounded with that could physically push you through it. As more of a mental push. Obviously you adapt to someone like George or other elite guys at UMD. It pushes you to do that too for the sense of just straight competition. Where in terms of like certain training like regiments or lifts or anything, was there anything specific that you knew you had to change or anything that you did differently that you think progressed you further from the high school level to the collegiate level?
Oh yeah, for sure. I knew I needed to get in that weight room. Immediately, I knew I needed to get in that weight room. Uh, I got introduced. Great coach, love him. Still my man to this day. Coach Thomas, Ron Thomas at Durfee. I had a different coach when I first started for a high jump, but Coach Thomas came into the program and he was a new high jump coach, and he helped me start getting into the weight room, simple stuff to help me get more explosive, more powerful. And I got here, I'm like, I'm not up to par. I'm not in shape. Like obviously I can run. I'm pretty fast as I am now, but I need to get in that weight room to build that strength, get more muscle mass, because if I'm gonna be doing all these events, my body's gotta be able to handle all of it. Uh that was the biggest thing, especially over this, even still today, over this past summer. I was religiously in the weight room, a lot of lifting to make sure my body can handle the workload that I'm doing at these practices.
Yeah, no, I remember during the pandemic you put a lot of time into during the pandemic because obviously because it's kind of the plus of running. You're not really handcuffed for running. I mean, a lot of weight training and stuff when gyms closed that was one thing, but I know you put in a good a fair bit of time during the pandemic when we were away from school. At least I remember you posting a lot of it.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I found my passion for fitness. Pandemic, I wasn't doing anything else, as a lot of people weren't. You know, I was like, why don't I start working out? I was running, like I said, I was still running my miles. Then there was no gyms open, so I would do body weight training, a lot of Tabata. You guys definitely should check out Tabata if you're into hit workouts, stuff to get your heart rate up. I was even like training a couple of my friends. I'm actually still like I'm at school now, so I can't really focus on it as much as I could. But um, I definitely still want to pursue something in fitness industry training, something like that. I really love that.
Yeah, I think I remember when I like originally like, genuinely met you. It was right before the pandemic. I remember we were hanging out at one of the Dells. I gave you like a ride back to your dorm at that point. But now that I'm thinking about it in terms of like the time you put in over the pandemic, like when my first like actually I think meeting you like happened like right in that ballpark. I think when people were still on campus for spring break. I think what it
Oh
was
yeah,
we were just hanging around there and like there wasn't much to do. I think that's like when I genuinely like I first met you was like in that ballpark of time. It was either the February break or it was the spring break when we were
exactly,
both back there, right?
exactly. That's exactly when I started. Right before everybody got sent home was when I started to go to the gym, and I still have their memories when I even first made my first Snapchat post for Killa's Fitness, and yeah, I've been training. My progression's been pretty great since then. And shoot, you've been doing your thing in the gym too.
Hey, I love the go to stuff I do. It's something. I mean, that's right down the road too from UMass. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
something I'd love to introduce people to and bring people in that are committed to it as well. Um, even sports or no sports, I'm always going to find love in fitness. I think that it's a good disciplinary thing to have in your life. Looking good, you feel good, all of the above. Like there's endless benefits, and there's the only bad thing, I guess, the only negatives with it are the injuries that can come from it. But in reality, you really have to be just stuff can go wrong, stuff will go wrong. You're not really gonna get injuries, but in general, like there's very very few negatives in comparison to the positives you get from consistently training, especially at any level really, but especially at the level that I think we've put our time into. You see a lot of the results relatively quickly, and I mean like quickly as in months. A lot of people don't see results over a couple of months. I mean, we're guys that we can see results over a couple months because you see it from season to season. You put that time in at that high level, you're seeing it in months. It takes some people years to get to certain physiques and certain numbers. The level of athletics that we're pursuing, even though, like I said, even though it's still Division III, there's still an incredible amount of progress that we make.
Hmm. Yeah, I think people shouldn't be too fooled by these divisions.
Yeah, I people will
Don't
say
I
people.
don't and you guys shouldn't be too people out there watching. Don't be too fooled. There's a lot of great people, especially at D2 level. There was a post on Instagram, one of the track pages posting a D2 guy beating a bunch of LSU dudes in the 60 in a race. Turns out the guy's an Olympian for the D2 school. Same thing with like a couple of events. Like there's people that are literal Olympians they're just at a school of their choice. And not everybody can go D1. Like
Nah,
it's,
I
it's
you look at the basketball team too, the talent you have there. Um,
exactly.
Football has some guys, UMass Dartmouth specifically, but you look anywhere, there's plenty. There's Division III, Division II guys in the NFL. Um, Deontay Harris played at Assumption. There's plenty of offensive linemen, defensive, like the list goes on and on. I say it, even though Division II, just to remind people, hey, like it doesn't. We're not handcuffed here. This isn't a joke. This isn't relative to high school, or this isn't just something you do in your spare time. Like there is still a genuine, commitment level and growth process there, and results process and level of competition that it's not just a throwaway. It's still a genuine level of competition. You go watch the UMass Dartmouth men's basketball team, watch that national tournament at the very least, or watch you run and perform at the national levels and tell me, if Division III is just it's only D3. If anybody who looks at it that way, I think is just foolish.
Yeah. Also, too, another point to add on to that, um, it's it's not as much as a job for us. We're doing this because we actually love the sport. You know, um, a lot of the dudes who, when I was in high school, were at the top of their game and all that. I'm telling you, I check, I still check, and they're not doing the same thing. They went D1, they went huge D1, and they're just not producing like how they were in high school or how they were expected to do at the higher level. Not everybody can still produce. And I always, it's a shame. Like I want these guys to thrive, these guys and women too, because obviously track and field's a multi-gender sport. You got women out there doing great things too, but um, yeah, it's not as much. I'm doing it because I love it. Like showing up to practice, I have fun. I have fun at practice every day.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Division III, you gotta. If you're D1, you don't show up to practice, skip practice, they can snatch your scholarship. You're paying for school all of a sudden. D3 doesn't make it. What different? It's not a incredibly huge difference. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you're like you said, you're there because you love it, because you want to pursue it, because you have a passion in the sport and in what you're doing, and any results you get out of it are because of that. It's all directly related to your self discipline and self love of whatever of yourself or the events or sport that you're competing in. Couldn't agree more on that note. So we'll get back. We'll close it out with more of the fitness and specific training or dieting, whatever we want to go through there. But before we do, we'll come back to the more of the present day. Kind of walk me through your first year at UMass Dartmouth, and pretty much your career through UMass. Obviously, getting to work with George, and then eventually getting to national events, and now this year, where a lot of it's culminating with an incredible amount of success for you. Kind of just walk me through the process to where you're at now at UMass Dartmouth in terms of your events and your success.
Yeah. So start off my freshman year. We got here, and my goal before I even started running track, I told people like, dude, I want to be an All American. Like that is the main thing I want to do. That's my goal right now. I competed indoor. Indoor is not really. Some people use indoor as training for outdoor. Indoor is not really my main sport, I guess, because spring track is a different sport from indoor. I guess you could say. But I never got the chance to compete in the 400 hurdles outdoor because of COVID. So I was obviously I'm disappointed because of that. But I'm like, I'm not. I gotta train. Like I'm gonna use this time to get better. So I came back when we were back allowed on campus. We didn't get a indoor season here my sophomore year because of COVID. So came back spring semester and not much. It's so hard to run in New England because it's so cold outside, and obviously you want your muscles to be warm and loose. So running, especially something like a 400, where it's kind of like a sprint, it is a sprint. Your muscles tense up faster. It's harder to run faster times. I wasn't really running fast times to make nationals at the beginning of the season because the cold is really a big factor, and B, there just wasn't any competition to push uh, me to those fast times. Like there was a guy I raced in high school who I got a good amount of wins over at the big meets, and I saw he ran. He's at a school. It was at Carnegie Mellon, and he had dropped like a 54 in the 400 hurdles. I'm like, how do you do that? And I'm running. I think I was like running like 56 at the beginning of the season, and all of our meets were dual meets. Would only face one team. Every meet was here at UMass, and it was only up until where it got warm out up until the at the New England meet where I faced the D1 guys where I started to get into my peak into my season to where I qualified to nationals and then I broke the school record here. Um, then I realized okay, all right, I'm better than what I thought I was. I thought I lost it over this break, and yeah, making it to nationals, I was so excited. Like I think I came in ranked fourth. I came in ranked fourth. Top. They lowered the amount of people who can get in because of COVID. So it was only instead of top 20, it was like top 17 or 15. So ranked fourth with the 52.59. Top seed was like a 51 or a 50 from a guy Dallas Wright from Warburg. He's insane. He's tearing it up this year. I don't even know how he does it. That guy's insane. But we get there. I see my family. They come out to the meet, and the actual race itself, it was nuts. So I'm warmed up. I get all warmed up, and then we go out on the track. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't really getting nervous for a lot of the meets throughout the season, but I I'm doing little strides on the infield before we go out, and boom, just downpour rain out of nowhere, just a downpour. So we get into the blocks, you know, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I took my glasses off. My coach is like right in the stand. So I reach up and hand him my glasses because there's no way I could see out of my glasses. Um, I'm so, all right, set, go, we go. And they shoot the gun again. We get called back. I'm just like, all right, somebody false start. Like, what happened? Uh, we do that. We literally do that again about 3 or 4 times. We go on the blocks. We get called back about 3 or 4 times. Then we get told to go underneath the tent, the waiting area. So at this point, we were waiting underneath that tent for about 5 to 8 minutes. Nobody's warm anymore. We're all soaking wet. We're the only event to get rained on. Finally, we get to go back out because I guess the timer was broken. The timer wasn't working when the timer's connected to the gun, so it wasn't going when the guy was shooting the gun. So they finally fix it. We go out, run the race, and I noticed like every block start that I did when they called us back, it was just getting weaker and weaker every time. Like my power to blocks was just like not the same from having to do it so many times. And I was all the way in the outside lane, so I just had to run on my own. There's nobody I can pace off of. I'm like, all right, I just gotta go. Looks like I'm leading, whatever. We get around the corner, and it's a pack of 4 of us, and then a pack of the rest of the people on the inside lanes. And going over the hurdles, then you notice Dallas Wright, person seed to win. He starts gapping the 3 of us that were in the pack of 4, and I'm just pushing him. The prelims race, I was excited to even make it in the finals. All I had to do was finish to be an All American. Get over the hurdle, get to the last hurdle. The guy Dallas Wright had the lead. I'm like, all right, whatever. I just need to finish. I'll be top 4 in the country. I'll be an All American. The guy Dallas Wright falls, slips, literally trips on the last hurdle and slides. Like it was insane. I never seen something like that before. I've never raced somebody and they fall in the last hurdle like that before. Like it was insane. Fall, I'm trying to push because me and the other 2 guys are like neck and neck. So I'm like, wow, this is like heaven sent. Like this is I can win this. I get over the last hurdle trying to push for the line, and I felt my hamstrings tightening up because we weren't warm anymore. Just like the other 2 guys had a better kick than me. They got me in the end. I ended up finished third. This man Dallas Wright still finished fourth with a 54 second. He beat the other guys with a fall. Literally fell belly on the track, slid, got back up, and still finished fourth to be an All American. And he won like team. His whole team won the team title there too. He won a good amount of events too. But
I remember
I
watching
was.
it. I
Oh,
I, I
did you watch
I
it?
watched. I streamed it on my phone. I remember. I mean, I remember a lot of people like obviously tagging you in it, watching it. I remember streaming it on my phone. I was watching it. I'm like, dude, it's downpouring. And I saw you guys went out, went back in, went out, went back in,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, I feel bad for it. Not just you, but for everybody. I'm like, I can't imagine just the mental like destruction that was. Out, false start, wasn't a false start, it was this, it was that, under the tent from the rain, then having to run in the rain. I'm like, I'd bust my ass real quick in that rain, like that kid
Ooh.
did. The fact that he got back up and finished it. I remember the kid went down because everybody else was neck and neck. I was like, leader went down. I was like, I think for a brief second your head was out in front there. I was like, oh damn. I was like, hey, he fell, he went. I don't even know. I might have put it up on my TV at that point, or it might have been my phone. I was streaming it, and I was like, "Damn, bro, third nationally." I'm like, I don't. I mean, obviously, in the bid to win it too. It's not like you were just like happy to be there. Like
Yeah.
genuinely competed like till the end, and I was impressed with it, and I was like, I can only imagine what the future holds for you in terms of competing in that event now. But yeah, it was a wild thing to watch. And like this is just getting out of like obviously there were still COVID restrictions. I don't think basketball had done their thing and won their title, but all the seasons were different. So I think it was nice to be able to but we were still getting readjusted to being able to watch organized sports at really any level. I think still at that point was there was still that adjustment period there. I think at that time for that. Right, because there were still so many restrictions and everything involved. What month was that in? That was
Um, maybe like I think it was March. It was around spring break.
yeah.
Oh, was it? It was around spring break. Exactly. It was. I think it was this month actually.
So yeah, I think it was still because they were still getting readjusted to season stuff because there was no fall sports. So obviously you get through some of the winter league basketball and then it was that, right? Yeah, yeah. That's pretty
I
much.
can't. Yeah, I can't quite remember exactly, but actually it might have been after school. I think classes and everything was over, and yeah, I was happy, man. My socks are wet, everything's wet. I go over, I get the trophy. I'm just like, wow, this is like something I dreamed of. Like in high school, I was just good on like in the state level. And then now you're like, wow, on the national level, like this is crazy. This is nuts. And I don't know, I give back. The school shows mad love. I love everybody here. Everybody shows bad love to me. It's great. It's awesome. And hopefully, I'm praying we can go do some great things this year. It's gonna be tough because a lot of those guys, I think all of those guys are coming back this season. And like I said, like a lot of these dudes are doing some crazy things indoor. So I know we'll just have to wait and see.
I like it's yeah. It is a very supportive community, especially with with a lot of the success that's going on with the school and the winning and stuff like that. Between basketball, between track, between
Yeah.
uh, football doing well. Um, what is it? Like you said, obviously you had more people to push you when you were there, but the UMass community as a whole, um, what is it like in terms of like with all the winning? Does it rub off in a sense? With everybody being so successful and pushing each other, to higher levels from different sports point of view. Because the girls went to a championship game, the guys go to the conference title game as well, win their conference in the regular season. Now going to the national tournament. Baseball's had some success. You know a lot of guys like Zach Souza's from Durfee. You even got
Man,
some Durfee people in there too. Shay as well too. And Kylie too. All and a couple of Durfee
a
athletes
lot of
in there.
different kids, yeah.
But obviously, there's a lot of success amongst all the programs there. You feel like you guys kind of feed off each other in that sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I I will tell you, since my freshman year, and this is not a lie, the football team here has not lost a home game. I have not witnessed a home loss. And I think somebody should check that out, but I'm 100% sure that they have not lost a home game since my freshman year here, since 2019, which is, I mean, they didn't get a, a season last year, but still, that is crazy impressive. Then you come and I go to the ball games, and I got friends, of course, on all those teams. I'm just like, wow, everybody's doing great. Like, you got a lot of champions coming out of the school, and that's going to help the school in the long term too. When it comes down to recruiting, a lot more people are going to look at the school like, wow, you might have a two sport, a football guy, basketball guy, football. Um, you might have a soccer girl who runs track too. That's really gonna help produce a lot of great athletes too to come here who
What I
wanna play for us.
what I think is cool too is there's a lot of local people doing it. Marcus Azor from Brockton, Jake's from
Mm.
Fairhaven. Went to Bourne. Sieblem's from Apponequet. You're from Durfee. I mean, and then some of the football guys as well too. Maybe not so much as local, but even DJ Machado went to Diamond. He's from Farver, and he had a fantastic season.
Man,
Like I said,
track athlete too.
so like I said, Zach Souza from Durfee, Shay from Durfee, and then there's other people that are from around from the Fairhavens of the world, the Vokes of the world. I think it's
Mhm.
really cool that a lot of local people are doing it too. It's more than just like no, we're not bringing people across the country here to do it. It's all happening right, within a pretty good radius. Maybe get the Connecticut's and the New Yorks too. And I'm not throwing shade at anybody who isn't from Mass or isn't from the local South Coast area, but I just think it is really neat that there are a lot of successful people from the South Coast as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's crazy. These names, some of them I haven't even heard of, but then they come here and they just produce. They just produce. And it's great to see. It's really great to see.
It's in some.
Especially somebody like Marcus Azor. I didn't even realize because I went to Durfee and I watched all the games, and I was talking to my friend from Brockton who actually knows Marcus too. I'm good friends with Marcus too. Um, I never remember even seeing him play in the games when I was at Durfee, and we would face Brockton. I didn't even remember. My friend's like, yeah, he didn't even start because Brockton was such a deep school. He didn't even start at Brockton. My friend was saying, and he comes here and just going off. Just every game, he's doing something crazy.
Yeah, it's something to be said too about the coaching too that's able to focus and say, hey, we're going to recruit locally, we're going to build locally, we know who we got, and build from there because you see just the transcendent talent and the growth of all those a lot of these local guys and local people. Obviously, in the recruiting process, they understand that locally, the convenience, close to home, all the above. But then able to being knowing they're able to work with them and understand what their background is and understand where they're from or who they know or the coaches they've had. Obviously, it allows them to elevate them in terms of how they coach them too, which I think is really unique and obviously the success level is there for the school.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're definitely switching on over to a winning culture here at Mass Dartmouth. So I'm happy about that. Winning culture is the way to go.
I, I I don't think anybody will disagree with you there. Unfortunately, a part of more of a down culture right now here as to where I'm at, which it's frustrating, but you can only Oh man.
Yo, shout out D, shout out D.
Oh man.
Ah.
Oh man. Oh, transfer portal. This is that's it. I mean, I wish I was kidding, bro. I wish I was
You
kidding.
should have, you should have stayed with us, man. Come
I
on, you did not.
if UMD had if UMD had my major, I would have stayed for sure. I would have stayed for
Oh yeah,
sure. But you know, we're evaluating stuff. Stuff goes on. End of the day, I want to get my degree, and I'll support you guys. You know, no matter what, I support all my friends. As much as it pisses off people here, so you have no idea how many people it frustrates
I
you
was gonna
that
say that you always keep it up here. I'm like, I know those guys over there. Like, bro, he's a traitor.
I catch so much heat for it, but you know, like in reality, I'm like, why am I not gonna support my friends? Like, it doesn't matter where they are. I go and I go, I'm also lucky to be able to go home pretty much every weekend and see everybody there and hang out with a lot of my close friends. Like, it doesn't like I don't care where you're from or what school you go to. It's like if you're a genuine person in my life, I'm gonna commit genuine action to you and love and support and be genuine. I don't. It doesn't matter where I'm at or where they're at in that sense. The support
Exactly.
in the genuineness is going to be there, and it's reciprocated on to me, which makes it easier. If it wasn't reciprocated to me, it wouldn't matter, but it's reciprocated to me in both ways.
Exactly.
When are you coming back? I remember when I first got back. Matty Val's picked me up. We went to that football game. We hadn't seen me in a couple of months, so just the energy is reciprocated. I wouldn't give out as much as I did if it didn't come back to me in what I do with
Exactly.
this or what I do wherever it may be. So that's just where it is. It's just genuine relationships that I've built there and I continue to run with. So as much heat as I catch for it, it doesn't matter to me because I know that I have genuine people in my life that I'm gonna be able to rock with. And you're not just gonna find that anywhere because I haven't found it here, and it's to nobody's fault. It's just how things go. I found such a solid group of people there, and I'm not gonna what title I hold in terms of where I go. I'm not gonna let that drag any of that down. I appreciate genuine people that I have in my life, and a lot of them happen to be there. So that's all I can say on that. That's all I can say on that.
We love you over here at UMD, man. Come back home.
I got my 1 year left. Oh God, I wish they had my major. Um,
Sheesh.
but like I said, y'all know I always support you. I guess the last thing we can close it out there with, obviously, you have the national stuff. You have the Killa Can Fitness. We mentioned the training and stuff like that. I think it's one of the cool things for me, and it allows me to support you even more. And the same thing with anybody that has a private gym story, or you see their workouts, and you're closer friends with them. Um, I have a greater appreciation for you as well too in terms of the results you get and root for you more because I can see how much time you put in the dedication, the lifts, the different styles of lifts and training. Um, but obviously we kind of touched on Killer Camp Fitness. Where do you want to? Is that like your brand you're going with? Do you want to brand that? Do you want to build that in terms of like the age of influencing is crazy right now.
Yeah.
Um, have you do you have any like what are do you have any like long term plans of that specifically, or do you just want to get into the field of training yourself, like, or just enjoying it as it goes right now?
Yeah, I want to start off. I want to start off that by saying that uh younger younger me would be very proud of me right now because it's never very confident. Like I said, very skinny, frail guy. I was self conscious about myself and my appearance. So actually getting started, I started my fitness journey with Killer Fitness too. So it took a lot for me to like, man, I'm gonna post this on my. I started on my private story on Snapchat, and I still post on there from time to time, and I probably gonna get back into it as soon as I get more time in my day. But yeah, I mainly did it to encourage my friends who might have a hard time getting into the gym. And I eventually, the more and more I kept posting and more progress I made, people slide up and then they feel comfortable asking me questions and things. And it felt great. And it made me want to keep posting more and more and give more knowledge to people who weren't as confident to get into the gym. And that's the biggest part for me. Like, I know there's people out there that really, really, really want to do better for themselves, but they just don't really have the support. or know where to even start. So coming from somebody, I feel like I'm a pretty relatable person, and I feel like I have a decent amount of friends out there who who would actually listen to me. Um, I thought it would just be a great idea. Like, man, I'm this is my passion. I'm loving it. People are actually giving me feedback on it, and I want to go with it. But yeah, I started an Instagram page. I made it inactive because I'm not able during school. It's kind of hard to put with sports and school, and it's kind of hard to put the amount of time that I want into it. But don't I'm not finished with it. It is something that I want to make a brand. I actually have a couple of merch items made. My friend got them made for me, and expect more from Kills Fitness in the near future because I definitely am gonna pursue more with that. Like definitely I'd say in the summer, you're definitely gonna get a lot more. I will be training probably 10 times harder because my next goal is to be a national champion, and that's gonna require me to go take my training to the next level. It's always the next level. So yes, Kills Fitness is definitely something I want to become a brand. I train people. I don't charge at the moment.
No, I
I
mean,
don't charge people.
my trainer said the same thing. He goes, you didn't train people free at first. It's just how it goes. You just have to build up that
You have to.
brand.
You have to. You have to. It's how you build a good base of people who eventually will support you when it's time to come to charging people. But I'm looking into getting certified in a lot of different stuff and personal training, things like that too. So yeah, it is something I would love to pursue, and you'll see a lot more of me posting fitness stuff, even track related training stuff too. I might even touch into track and field training.
Now, so you said the page is inactive, so I guess it's not up. We can't plug it at all because I want to plug it. I do want to plug it. I mean, obviously I'll plug.
I mean, I could put it back up, but
Nah. We'll leave it for what you want to
it's
because
not bad stuff. I actually have my Tabata workouts, my Tabata workout. I have a couple
those
workouts
are
in there,
crazy, bro.
but
I just ooh.
oh yeah,
Tabata's
I have a
awesome.
couple. It's good, but it's just like I want to keep posting actively, but I just haven't been able to put more time in it. Like the
It's t-
posters from
with school, it's tough. Not even to mention a sport because I went MIA when I decided to play football as to into where I did play football. That was pretty much from March to November where I didn't post anything on here, and
Mhm.
that's an extended period of time. So I totally feel in that. But when it does come around, obviously I'll be plugging it. I don't know how I didn't see. Maybe I probably did follow. Or did it? I don't. I would. I'd find it hard to
I
believe
don't
that
know. I'm not sure.
I
I just definitely know like it's I have my private Snapchat, my private snap on Snapchat for the fitness page.
yeah
It's just a lot more easy to post on that.
yeah.
You definitely gotta put a lot more time in catering it to running the Instagram page. So um definitely Snapchat's stuff come, but I really wanna put more time into the Instagram when I get more time.
And to talk about some of your growth too, I never would have even thought of you as someone who wasn't more of a confident person or just kind of like outgoing. I never would have even thought for a second that you weren't that because I've only ever known you as outgoing, confident, like that dude. That's the only like character I've known you as in terms of that. So I want to talk about some growth there too. Though even throw even more compliments your way, even though the medals and stuff they're probably weighing down your neck. I gotta.
Thank you, dude. Thank you, dude. I'm just trying to stay grounded. I try my best.
But nah, for sure, like that's I said, you able to come on here and speak. Not everybody's able to do it, by the way. I know even some people that are good at it, they don't think they are. I mean, Jake Ashworth was like, "Do you think I did all right?" When he went on another person's show and he talked about me because he did. He was talking about how talking about the game and being as active and talking and chirping in a sense that some people would say, depending on the sport that he's playing. He's so active in his communication, knowing the game, defensive rotations. He's such a good teammate. First guy off the bench, loud, energetic, loves you to death, But he was talking to them. When I played him, when I played against him in high school, and he played for Bourne, I couldn't stand him. I could not stand listening to him in the dugout. I remember he struck me out on a pitch like that was like a foot off the plate, but it was like 30 degrees and we were down like 6-0. And it was freezing. And it was like the sixth inning. The umpire was like, "I'm going home, getting out of here. Ring this kid up." I remember being pissed. He was all hooting and hollering. I was like, I can't stand this kid.
That Jake, that is the man. I know a lot of people. If you're on the opposite side and you're the opposition, you're not gonna like him. But if
But
you're on his team, you'll love him. Well, not even still, because he's gonna compete. He's gonna push you every day. Those guys say in practice, he's always balls to the wall every practice.
nah, he's my favorite teammate ever. I played baseball with him in Legion, and I wasn't even friends with him until Legion. He's one of my best friends to this day. One of the most impactful and genuine people in my life, and that's what he said in the show too. Because Lucas said he used to hate me. Now, I'm one of his favorite teammates ever. It is that communication is contagious, and just having that confident stuff. And like I said, he wasn't too sure of how he did. I said, dude, you speak very well. You're clear. Your speech is clear. What you talked about in terms of that story, anecdotally relating to the localness of the show that you were on, talking about adjustments to college. Like, I mean, some people don't give themselves enough credit in doing this as it did, but like in terms of that, would you have ever seen yourself going like at your high school self, like early high school self? Could you have ever seen yourself like stepping into this scene onto this?
Dude, no, I not my high school self. I actually took an interest in the podcast over. I think it was over quarantine. I listened to a lot of Joe Rogan. I love Joe Rogan. That's our guy. So when I was watching those podcasts, I was like, man, I love to be on a podcast. I like talking.
I think it's when you saw me at state too one night. I think it was that you said something.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, give like I will like one day I will get you there. I feel like it's
You
unfair to
gotta have me back, man. This can't be a one-time thing.
no. We're gonna keep you on. But like, especially through national stuff, dude. What I want to do with this eventually too is as it builds and I bring more guests on. There's a method to my madness. I don't want to do this where I'm not consistently posting because if I just post someone out of nowhere, like I have an interview with Jake that while the file itself got all jacked up and I adjusted that, I haven't been able to post again. And it's about the kidney situation, the surgery, the NCAA article. That's legit stuff. He doesn't deserve me just to throw that out there and use that to garner interest. I need to post on my own, post my solos, post like he deserves the full attention from the people that follow me to also build with his crowd and his family and his people that will watch it. I don't want to just use that as a one time. It deserves the full credit. So the same thing with bringing you on, the same thing with bringing my trainer on. I had to build this up in the sense where I brought it back, put it out there. It's known that I'm doing this. More people are seeing it. People bring it up to me here at school, at other schools. Because you guys, when I bring you guys on, I want to make sure you guys get the full attention you deserve. I'm not just doing a one-time thing. Not in terms of like how much I bring you on, but like I post and then I don't post again for 3 months. You don't deserve that. You deserve the full attention of what it is, and not just for it being a comeback episode, but for it being dedicated to you. So that's why, I've held off on a lot of this stuff, and I finally put it together to the point now where I'm really comfortable with it, comfortable bringing guests on. Even when I bring guests on, we don't have to do an hour and so long with you. I can bring you on for 20 minutes to talk about a certain thing or a certain subject or a certain event that you just ran, and then I can go back to my show. I can put it in there and I can bring you on as it goes through, so it's more convenient for you. But you've also already been on the show and people understand who you are and you have that background, so it's not like I have to reintroduce you or anything. Like, it's known. So that consistency that will build with that, I committed myself to pretty much once a week. I don't think I've been totally on once a week, but at least if I can do 52 new episodes in a year, that's insane. 52 episodes goes a long way just for someone who's 22 and in college. But that's why there was a method in my madness. I wanted to make sure that when I bring people on, that I'm consistent with it. The time's there for it, and they get the attention that they deserve. And I can't thank you enough for joining me.
Dude, I wanna shout out to you and applaud you for doing this. He's a great guy. So great layout he's got going to juggle college and doing a podcast and actually being so organized with it. You're doing a great job, man. I want to be back on here. I love this too.
I appreciate you, bro. Like I said, it's gonna be, and all the stuff with Killa Cam Fitness and stuff too. Like obviously you'll be able to, I can help you with that, with like video editing, whatever it may be that you need done. That's all kinds of stuff that I can help you with too. That I like to help people with. This is a passion of mine. Like you have a passion for running and working out. I have a passion for working out too, but this is the true passion: being behind a microphone, producing, editing, stuff like that. It's come naturally to me, and I just enjoy seeing the product on screen. It's just the way everybody has their canvas to paint. Everybody has their life's canvas, and this is just the way I choose to paint it. And I enjoy it so much. So I appreciate the kind words from you. Is there anything else that you would like to touch on before we sign it off here? I think we got everything. Like I said, there's not always a guarantee we get everything on the script, but it ran pretty well. I think we set it up pretty well to get to Killa Camp Fitness at the end too. We touched upon certain things early, then kind of went back and then worked it back to here as to where, I think everything kind of finished with a pretty solid slam dunk.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think we touched upon everything, and if we didn't, like I said, I will be back. I gotta be back on this, man.
We gotta catch you after nationals. We gotta have the nationals, and then obviously the spring season too. So we got plenty. And then after that, whenever during the summer, like I said, even collabs if you wanted to do a Killa Camp Fitness thing, we'll probably get some workouts in over the summer, depending on how our schedules line up. I'm sure we'll both be busy, but you never know.
You never know. That's true. That's a fact.
But what we do know is you will be back on, and I have really enjoyed this. So, Cam, again, I want to say thank you. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. It's your boy Rufus, and for Cam, signing off. Could be us.